better cases. I ain't gotta chase it. Money's moving to me. I'm a millionaire. Money better cases. I ain't gotta chase it.
Hey, what is going on, beautiful people? Happy Saturday to you all. I hope that you had an amazing day thus far. I am super ecstatic about our live this afternoon. So if you are watching us live, go ahead and let us know where you're watching from. Rep your city, rep your country. Let us know where in the virtual building you are watching us from tonight, this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you are. Let us know who's here. Let us know. I'm hearing some feedback. I'm not sure if someone has their phone off of mute, but good afternoon once again, ladies and gents. I'm going to go ahead and get started and share my intro with you all. In fact, I'm going to do a bit different today. I'm going to get right into what we want to talk about this afternoon and introduce my amazing guest. I am beyond excited. And so I'm hearing some feedback. Does anybody else hear that, or is it just me?
Yes. No, I hear it.
Okay. And everybody else is muted? Their other devices are muted?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to see what feedback is happening. All right, so this afternoon, as you've seen the title of this live stream, we are highlighting women in business from different walks of life. Dr. Cook, do you have another phone or something playing on the Facebook Live? Because I hear something.
Do I have
Is your phone on the Facebook Live?
No.
Okay.
I can turn my phone off, but no, it's not on. I was trying to find the Facebook Live, but I couldn't find it.
Okay. I'm not sure where it's from, but let me see. We're going to figure this out. All right. Well, those of you that are watching live, if you guys hear the feedback, let us know. If it's good, comment, let us know. But tonight, I want to go ahead and introduce our amazing ladies that are with us this afternoon that are going to share with you all today about our backgrounds. You know, women in business, women in ministry, women that are changing lives around the world, women who decided to do greater with their lives and not be the status quo. And so I'm going to start from my right. I have none other than the Reverend Dr. Sean Atkins. Hey, Pastor Sean, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful. Glad to be here this afternoon.
Awesome. She is the Reverend of Antioch Baptist Church in the historical city of Harlem, New York, in the house. And we have also, right underneath Dr. Atkins is the one and only Leah Rutherford, the educational consultant, mother, serial entrepreneur. How are you, my dear?
I am wonderful and excited to be here. Amazing, awesome, and amazing. Yes.
Awesome. And then drum roll, please. We have the legend herself, the godmother. This woman is responsible for helping over 20 people become millionaires. The one and only Dr. Dorothy Cook, also known as the godmother. How are you?
I am awesome and excited and ready.
Awesome. Great. Well, I share with you all our dynamic panelists for today. And of course, you know, I am Sharita Leon, hailing from New York City as well. And so I'm going to be the millennial voice for today. And so I wanted to gather these powerful women together to kind of share our stories of how we got into entrepreneurship. What are some of the things that we had to face that were challenges, in hopes that those of you that are watching will find, you know, something to relate to. You'll find that you also can make a change in your life regardless of where you are. Many of us had what they call humble beginnings. And so I want to start off first with Dr. Atkins. You being a woman of God, being a pastor, leading people spiritually, what made you decide to go into business? And what were some of the challenges you faced as a spiritual leader in the business world?
First of all, I believe in multiple streams of income.
Yes.
I grew up, my dad was the only African-American that entrepreneur, business owner in Staten Island in the 1970s. So, you
Wow.
know, I come from a history of people who had multiple streams of income. And so diving into network marketing, while it was new for me, I was already a business owner. I own a daycare, I own an after school, as well as pastor a prominent church in Harlem. And so
Mm.
I knew that it was already in my DNA for greatness. And it was God's desire for me not to ever rely on one stream of income, but have multiple streams.
That's awesome. So, what were some challenges that you had to face? Because I know we kind of discussed this yesterday. There are challenges, one, in being a woman leader in ministry, let alone being a woman leader in ministry, and now also being in ministry and business. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, when it comes to a great deal of the body of Christ, they seem to, not always see prosperity as the will of God. So how are you able to merge and not deal with the naysayers?
Well, first of all, I knew God had called me. And as I stated, my father was the pastor, the former pastor of Antioch Baptist Church. And there were a lot of people that were expecting me to fail. But you know what I learned? To the degree that you need acceptance from the people persecuting you, is the degree that persecution will impact you. But I didn't need their acceptance. So, yes, I faced a lot of criticism, and I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes within the last 15 years, but I knew that God had called me. I knew
Wow.
that God's hand was on my life. I knew that when God's for you, who could be against you? So my heart was to be a trailblazer. My heart was to make a difference, make an impact for other women in ministry. And we're doing great things in the village of Harlem. One of the exciting things is, I've connected to the community at large. And we're going to be preaching. The women are going to be preaching on next Thursday. Yes, 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 yes. And I'm so
Yeah.
excited for the 7 last words. So women are coming together in the New York City area. And I'm telling you, we're making a mark in that city that will never be erased.
Wow, that is awesome. That just goes to show you that where there is a will, there is a way, regardless. And as you said, if God is for you, who can be against you?
Yes.
So I want to go and ask, Leah. Leah, you're a mother. You are a serial entrepreneur. Talk to us about being an educator and then transitioning to entrepreneurship, because most of us are taught to go to school, become an entrepreneur. Well, not become an entrepreneur, go to school and work for somebody else. So how did you choose to not just go to school, but decide that, okay, great, I'm an educator, I'm teaching other people, but now how did you make that transition and see that, hey, I also need to be in charge of my own finances as well?
That's an excellent question. Part of it is definitely the free spirit in me that recognizes the power of connecting and networking. When I came and began my career in Houston, Texas, as a teacher, one of the things that I recognized is that when I'm in a classroom with students, that the students that I teach, let's say it's a classroom of 30 kids, maybe 2 or 3 of those students would walk away and my science lesson would impact their career choice, right? But then when I began to professionally develop and attend different workshops, I recognized that every person in that room, let's say it was 30 teachers, they would have the power to impact between 30 and 150 kids each. So once I recognized the power in being able to train the teachers, that was what shifted me into a place of wanting to consult. And the consultancy allowed me to start knowing what it felt like to be in entrepreneurship.
Wow. So in essence, what you're saying is you saw a need and you met it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think that's something that, when you break down entrepreneurship, when you break down business, that's simply what it is. It's finding a need and providing a solution. It's being able to see what is missing and being able to say, hey, I know how I can fix this. Let's go ahead. It's all about supply and demand, right?
Correct.
And so those of you that are watching, take some notes down. Really ask yourself, what is it that I see as a problem? Oftentimes we say things like, well, I don't have enough money, or I don't have a gift, or I don't know what I can do. But there is something that every single one of us has the opportunity to do and create into an actual stream of income. A lot of times we think that we're not qualified because we don't have certain degrees or we don't have the backing. But the truth is, there is something that you can be doing right now, being able to share that. And so I want to go now and speak to our legend in the building, Dr. Cook. And I want to ask you, how old were you, if you don't mind, when you went to your first actual business, when you stepped into entrepreneurship for the first time? How old were you?
I was in my 30s. I was selling real estate, and I met a young man named Chris Allen. I never will forget. And he invited me to a meeting, and it was multi-level marketing. And at the time, it cost 400 and I think $50 to get in. And he said, I went to the meeting. I was so excited, and I was ready to get in. Excuse me. And he said, when he told me how much it cost, I said, well, I don't have $450. He said, why? I said, what do you mean, why? I said, I don't have it. He said, why? I said, I don't have it. He said, why? Every time I said I didn't have it, he said, why? And to the point where I was, what do you mean? Why do you keep asking me why? I said, I don't have it. He said, I know, but you haven't told me why. He said, can I help you? I said, yeah, help me. I'm really mad now. So I said, yeah, help me. He said, do you work? I said, yeah, I work. He said, what do you do? I said, well, I sell real estate. I do this. I had 3 jobs. I had 2 part-time jobs, and real estate was like my full-time job. He said, can I tell you the first thing? I said, yeah, tell me the first thing. He said, first of all, 3 jobs is for 3 people. What do you mean? What do you mean 3 jobs is for 3 people? He said, just what I said. 3 jobs is for 3 people. I said, okay, but I don't have $499. He said, okay, how long have you been working these 3 jobs? I said, well, one I've been doing real estate. I've been doing about 10 years. And I went on. He said, spare me. Don't go into that. I said, what do you mean? You asked. He said, well, let me ask you a question. He said, is it fair to say you've been working at least 20, 25 years? I said, I've been working longer than that. He said, nah, be careful. Be careful. I mean, this is how he talking to me. I'm all upset because I don't like him questioning me like that. This is a young man. He was much younger than I was. So I said, yeah, let's just say 25 years. Yeah, I've been working 25 years, though I've been working longer than that. He said, okay. You telling me you're a full-grown woman standing here next to me. So you're not a woman, dressed well, and you tell me you've been working 25 years? I said, yeah, longer than that. He said, and you don't have $499? I said, what? He said, you've been working 25 years and you don't have $499. He said, now I got a question for you. Will you work another 25 and hope that you get it? Or will you do something different?
Wow.
That day, that hit me like a brick in my face. You've been working 25 years and you don't have $450. That day, I decided to do something different. And did the first thing win? No. Did the second one win? No. Did the 10th one win? No. Did the 20th one win? No. But I didn't stop because what I was doing was not working. So I knew I had to find something different. So I had to keep going and keep going. And see, a winner never quits. And a
That's
quitter
right.
never wins.
That's right.
So I kept going. And that's how I started in multi-level marketing.
Wow. So you touched on a couple of things, being able to look at yourself and say,
Mm-hmm.
man, I've been working all of these years
Mm-hmm.
and I don't even have more than $499 for like all
Okay.
these years. And I don't have that. That's a tough conversation to have with yourself because, we can sometimes get caught up in life and, we don't feel good about it, but we'll just kind of brush it under the rug and just keep it moving and try to hustle to pay the bills and hustle and hustle and hustle, but not take the time out to really evaluate. And you had to deal with yourself when that gentleman had the boldness to let you know, hey, something is wrong. And I think that's a conversation that we all have to have with ourselves and say, hey, something is wrong. If I don't have an extra $400, if I don't have
What
99,
extra? I didn't have nothing.
I didn't have nothing. If you didn't have any of that and you've been working all of these years, that is something to really address. Now, I'll share with you all my perspective and my journey as the millennial on this, stream. I know for me, working earlier on, something just didn't feel right. I would go to work and I would feel like there were days that I was choking. I felt like I was just a robot. I felt like every day I came in here, I did the same exact thing. There was nothing different. And I felt bored. And that's where a lot of people are right now. They're going to work and they feel bored. And while I'll get into that in a moment, but let me pause for a moment and say this. Everyone is not called to be an entrepreneur, right? There are some people that have extra strength and they're just built differently to be that. With that said, I do believe that everyone can be an entrepreneur. It's really a matter of a choice. So for me, it was one of those things where it was like, no, I was born to be my own boss. Period. And so while I did not know what venture I would get into, I didn't know what kind of business I would start, but I did know that there had to be something different, right? And so a lot of times millennials get a bad rep because they're like, oh, they're lazy. They don't have any good work ethic. They hop from one job to another. And that's not the case. What it is for many of us is the fact that we've watched the elders before us do what they told us to do, and it didn't work. So here we are following the footsteps of our parents that tell us to go to school, get a good job, and yet and still they're living a lifestyle that we do not want. So you're going on continuing the pathology that is not working and then expecting us to do the same thing. This generation that I'm a part of, we want to find out for ourselves. Watching other people doing as you say is just not going to work. We have to be able to say, you know what? I don't think that's working. Let me try something else. Being curious, being able to be bold to step out on the limb and take risks. And that's what it's going to take when it comes to entrepreneurship. You're going to have to take risks. As Dr. Cook said, there are going to be many things that you do that do not work. Listen, there were people that would laugh at me. My family was going to be like, oh, Lord, here she go again. But this is the thing. I knew that what I was doing in somebody else's workplace was not going to get me to my goal, even though I didn't know what kind of business I was going to start. I didn't know what kind of means of entrepreneurship I would eventually tap into. I just knew that going to somebody's job every day for 40 years was not going to work. So that meant trying different things. And it also meant growing, developing as an individual, studying, teaching myself certain things that I did not know. And then eventually it led to where I am today, where I can do multiple things and have multiple businesses that are thriving because I failed a lot. And so let's talk about failure, because a lot of times I believe that having the wrong perspective about failure is what causes a lot of people to lay dormant and don't get back up. So, Pastor Sean, speak to us about a time that you failed in business or maybe in something else. How did you bounce back from that?
I think failure is good. It's okay to fail as long as you fail forward. In other words, you make mistakes. I did network marketing. And when I first started, I failed miserably. But it was fine. You understand? Because that's how you learn. It's in those tough times, like Dorothy was saying, you know, when you try something, if you never try, if you never put the first foot forward, you'll never know what's really on the inside of you. And during the times when things didn't turn out the way I expected it to turn out, I just get back up and start all over again. A good example, I was on vacation and my academy was closed. And you know, this is something that my parents built, and it was just a misunderstanding. But what seems like something bad, God knows how to turn it around for your good. And you know, the inspectors came in and we had a lot of kids. They were preparing for a performance, and during the time when the inspector came in, they were sharing the class because all the classes were working together. And as a result, they closed the center.
Oh, wow.
Just refused to get bent out of shape because, you know, there's a yes in my future. God is always saying yes to me. And that's the preacher in me. And so I understand that, you know, all the promise of God is yes and amen. And so for me, closing wasn't a bad thing. It gave me an opportunity to press the reset button. I think you talked about somebody talked about reset the other day. I was able to press the reset button. And now, you know, my mindset is like expanding because after school is the way to go. But if we never had to press the reset button and just have after school, we would have never known what God could do. And so now it's gonna cost us less to do more. So in times of failure, you know, you got to be able to get back up again. You know, we fall down, but we get up. You can't picture tennis stadium. I want to just tell a quick story that my father used to tell. There were two ducks swimming in muddy water. One duck A said to duck B, you know what? I want to go over to the other side, but every duck that goes there, I hear that they're always drown. They always drown. Duck B said, I might drown, but I'm going to drown trying because there's some fresh water on the other side. And so I want to encourage our listeners today that, you know, there might have been some challenges in your life, but on the other side to your destiny, there's some fresh water.
Come on here, somebody. That a shout. That a preach right there, Pastor Sean. On the other side, somebody. So I love that. On the other side, I mean, you have to be willing to see failure as an opportunity to learn. The only L's we have around here are lessons, right? There are no losses. And in every lesson in life, you get to choose how your perspective is going to be seen. And as Dr. Cook said earlier, winners never quit and quitters never win. It has to be a part of your life. It has to be with mindset, because if you don't have the proper mindset, you won't be able to see that. You won't be able to find the lessons in the losses, right? So going into mindset, Leah, I want you to touch on how you have to start working towards that mindset. And what did that journey look like for you on your personal development? How is that imperative to see success in life, period? You're like the queen of acronyms, so you probably have something, but tell us, as an educator, how does that mindset work in business?
So the mindset piece is huge, and I love that you asked about that. Interestingly enough, last night there was we did game night with my daughters and my mom, and then we watched a movie, and my youngest daughter is very sensitive to any shifts in the atmosphere. And we watched a movie that scared her, and she immediately, it triggered a response where she got sick to her stomach, and then we had a situation. And from that, her head was hurting, her neck was hurting, and she was just like, Mom, I don't know what to do. And you know, this mindset thing is huge. She got her dream book and she starts writing, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. This is my 7-year-old. And she said, Mom, I think I need to turn on a mindset video just so that I can get my mind right. Out of the mouth of babes. And when you said mindset, that was so poignant because it's so connected to this quick situation that happened last night. She was able at 7 to completely identify, and here we go with this, that there was something wrong. She was then able to tap into a coping strategy to help her pivot. And then she applied that strategy so that she could shift from that place of anxiety, which is what she identified, from that place of physical sickness, which is what she was encountering. And she used the strategy immediately, the writing of the bedtime prayer, the turning on of the mindset video that allowed her to shift at 7 so that relaxation could come. Her neck stopped hurting, her stomach stopped hurting, her anxiety calmed down. Now I'm saying all that to say this. First, we have to identify that something is not right. And that is the place where many of us don't take enough time to recognize that space alone is what will cause the shift. And so being able to say, okay, something's not right here. Now, what do I need to do to get it right? And you don't know what you don't know. So that then puts you in the position to make sure that you bring resources into your space that help you shift your mindset. And one of the exercises that I began teaching young people around me was this. I started teaching this years ago, and it is a pivot exercise. So let's say, I know for me, I struggled with confidence about my weight. And so I always felt like I was fat. And so I would be very unconscious when that conversation would enter into a room where I was. If they talk about people being overweight, then I would immediately shoot back to, oh my God, are they talking about me? Like it was very internalized, right? And so I began using the I ams. I am would be this. I would go to the mirror and I would say, I am beautiful. I am powerful. I love my thighs. I love my face. I love my waist. And I began really embracing me. That's where it had to start. They say if you want respect, you gotta give it to yourself first. If you want love, you have to give it to yourself first. So learning strategies that once I identified the need to be better, then being able to activate a strategy where I started the work myself. So now I don't lead where I don't go, and I don't talk what I don't know. When it is a conversation that I'm able to have with somebody about what it is that they can do to get their life in a better place, it's because the I am was something I activated for my life years ago. And now in places when I should be probably stressing as a single mom of 2 and a fully responsible person of an older mother, I should be probably stressing right now in this corona crisis as an educator when all the schools are closed. And I'm a contracted educator, not a salaried educator. But I tell you what, the same way my 7-year-old was able to say, I identify it, I cope with it, I'm going to apply this, and I'm going to shift. That space is where I enter and where I guide people to who are in my place, in my space, and that are around me. And they know we don't do negative talk. We don't have interactions that are going to exchange negative energy. Energy is not created, it is not destroyed, it is only transferred. And you can only transfer positive energy in my space. And if you don't have that positive energy, I'm gonna teach you how to get it. And we're gonna work together to shift into a place where we can constantly pivot, either in my presence or in your own space. Once you've identified it, once you have activated the coping strategy, and once you have now applied what's necessary to be in a better space.
Wow, you said so many things there, Leah. I think you need to get your headphones. I think that's where a lot of the feedback is coming from. So if you can get headphones, that'd be awesome. But you said a couple of key things there. I'm going to start off with the I don't lead where I don't go. and I don't talk, but I don't know. I'm gonna be using that from now on. You already know. But I love how your 7-year-old can decipher what's going on internally and be able to say, wait a minute, this is not mine. I don't accept this anxiety. I don't accept what I'm feeling. Now let me change what's going on and switch my atmosphere really quickly. The fact that a 7-year-old can do that, and we have many adults that don't even know how to do that, is amazing. That is how you groom a generation for better, to do beyond what we have done. So kudos to you for that. Now, you mentioned how you had to deal with the confidence issues, right? And kind of switch it over and say, wait a minute, this is who I actually am. Let's talk about that as women who are in business, right? A lot of times, whether you are in business or in the corporate world, women are oftentimes seen as, the desirable fruit, right? We're beautiful, we're feminine, at least most of us should be. And so a lot of times we're seen for what we are on the outer appearance, and not for our logic, not for our gifts, not for our talents, and what we not only just bring to the table, but being the table, right? And so I want to touch on, what does it mean to be, a woman in business, both from a physical perspective, kind of touch on some of the things that you may have had to, overcome in that. And I want to start with Dr. Cook. As someone who has been in this industry, and not just marketing, but as a whole in life, being someone who I know you have done well in corporate as well, talk to us a little bit about what are some of the key things that you may have had to overcome as a woman, as a very strong woman at that, in leadership and in business. How did you have to, pivot from some of those situations that could have been challenging?
Well, the first thing you hit on was failure. I failed 1,000 times. And it wasn't so much that I failed, people saw me fail. They said, oh, you got in this and it didn't work. Oh, you got in that and it didn't work. Oh, you got in this and it didn't work. But see, I failed miserably. But every failure made me stronger and better, because I wasn't afraid of failure. Les Brown told me years ago, he said, as long as you fall, as long as you can look up, you can get up. The biggest thing, being a woman and then failing, and people saw you fail, not just once, over and over and over. And to the point where they would see you coming and say, here she come again. She got another one of them old get rich quick schemes. And they have to explain, yes, I did that one. Yes, it didn't work like I wanted, but I didn't quit. See, and a lot of times people would say, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. I disagree. See, because failure, each one I got in, I didn't necessarily fail. I didn't get where I wanted to get. So that means that I kept going until I got where I wanted to get. Because I made some money in each of them. I just didn't make the kind of money that I wanted to make. So people so easily look at that like, okay, I don't want to lose. Well, you got to lose to win. Every wealthy person I know lost. Look at Michael Jordan. They put him on the basketball team. I can name and name. Look at Oprah Winfrey. I can name the people that fail, especially different women. Look at Madam C.J. Walker, the stuff she went through. We want to get in something and want everything to be okay. The first strike you got against you is that you're a woman. And I don't care what they say, the world holds that against you. Because who do you think you are, that you can come out and do this better than the average man? But you see, I learned from looking at wealthy people. Bill Gates, he said, if you haven't failed 7 times, you can't even work for me. Why? He said, because you don't know how to handle adversity if you haven't failed. You don't know what to do. I can't trust you to get up and start again. So it meant to me was when I didn't do what I wanted to do, and so I looked and see why. I got a lesson. I didn't say I'm not going to do that no more. I might have said I'm not going to do it that way anymore. You have to find a way out, a way up, and a way over. And see, people are always out there trying to be like somebody else. Well, that person is taken. Be yourself.
Right.
You can't be like nobody else. You got to be yourself. And Joyce Myers always say, you can't get away from yourself. I don't care where you go, you with you. So you've got to learn, as Leah just said, a mindset. It all starts here. It starts here and it can end here. In between is where you go and what you decide you're going to do. The world can't tell me what I can do or cannot do. When the Bible says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I
Right.
never let that. When people told me I could, when people tell me I can't do something, oh man, that's like a light of fire. I got to do that. Because who are you to control what I can do? Win, lose, or draw. It's
That's,
all up to me.
that's right. That's
Young
right.
women figure out, and young men, that it's about them, nobody else. It's about how you feel about you and what do you want and where are you willing to go. Like you said, we've seen the mistakes our foreparents made. Why do we want to keep going that way? The Bible says, be not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So if what hasn't been working, why would we keep going towards it? For what reason? Failure is a stepping stone to winning. Only way you get to be a winner is through failure. There's
That's
no
right.
other way. There's no way around it.
That's
There's
right.
no way around it. So when you fear something, that's the very thing you need to do first.
That's
If
good.
you're afraid of heights, go up in a building. Just dare yourself because then you let fear or whatever control you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you it don't work. Well, it didn't work for you. I'm not you.
Right.
How dare you compare me to you? I'm not you.
That's right. That's
If
right.
it didn't work for you, doesn't mean it's not going to work for me. I have to
Absolutely.
see for myself. But so many times, people let people tell them what works for them, and they'll just stop. Oh, that ain't gonna work for you. Bam! It didn't work for so and so. It didn't work for them. It don't work. They say. They say. Well, who is they? They, them,
Right.
and it is broke as hell, and they always keep out of life. Okay.
Hello,
They,
somebody.
yeah. Nobody know who they is. Okay. Nobody have a name.
Right. Who are they? Exactly.
Okay.
They don't
Nobody
exist.
know. If I had $1 million for every time they told me I couldn't do something, I'd be a billionaire.
Right. And I like how, you touched on that, being able to know who you are within yourself in spite of what other people say and knowing that you don't have to identify with whoever they are. I
Mhm.
told someone just the other day, I think it was my mom, because she's always telling me about what they said. And she said, well, they said, I said, Mom, who is they? Okay,
Yeah.
if you can't tell me who they is, I don't want to hear about they, right? And so I guess that's, the millennial side of me. And like you said, Dr. Cook, if you listen to what other people are telling you is possible or not possible, you will not be able to do it. And this is the thing, everyone's reality is different. What I find to be realistic for me, someone else doesn't. And I'll give you a perfect example. So, people, they can have their own, opinions, because everyone can have them. Amen. God bless you for your opinion. But with that being said, I know that what type of lifestyle I want. So for me, the lifestyle that I live, where I can wake up when I want to wake up, do what I want to do, that's my reality. So before that ever was realistic, before that ever was a thing for me, I knew when I saw somebody else living that life, that was real for me. I knew that was something that I wanted to accomplish. And so when I would tell people that, they're like, girl, that is not realistic. Sharita, you're always in the clouds. Sharita, you're always in La La Land. Girl, that is not realistic. No, that is not realistic for you.
Yes.
And had I listened to the voices of the people that told me this was not realistic, baby, I would be living like them. And guess what? I'm living my realistic life now. Sharita, you're doing too much. Why you need somebody to clean your house? Why you need somebody? Listen, That's my realistic lifestyle. You don't have to have it, okay? That's fine. If you want to go ahead and do, God bless you. But as for me and my house, this is what we're going to do, right? And so before I even get on, I want to say hello to all those that are watching us live. Hey, hey, hey. Make sure you're commenting and do us a grand favor. In fact, bless the people on your timeline. Go ahead and share this broadcast. I'm sure that there is something that's going to be shared or that has already been shared that can be of great encouragement to someone else watching this live stream. So now, ladies, I'm gonna have to take a quick tea break, y'all, because I'm a bit parched, you know, and courtesy, this is sponsored by Detox Tea. Amen, somebody, because I was a bit parched. So we're almost getting towards the end. There you go, Dr. Cook. Leah got a whole store back there. But I want to wrap up pretty quickly, but before I do that, I wanted to speak to Pastor Sean because, you know, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. And being women in, again, ministry and in business, it could be a challenge. So talk to me. And, you know, this is no, you know, hits or dabs to anybody or any religious background, you know, but religion as a whole, for the most part, in many different sectors, has had a really, you know, way of thinking when it came to women in leadership. So I want to know, how did you, as a Baptist preacher, Baptist reverend, be it in New York City, in Harlem, in a very prominent church, how did you overcome being able to be a dynamic leader in your ministry? And then you have personality, honey. You are not the average reverend. So let us know, how were you able to combat what was being done?
Well, first of all, I made up my mind that I was not going to be concerned about what other people had to say about me. Their opinion of me really didn't matter. I wasn't trying to fit into anybody's organization. You know, I wanted to be a pastor. I was a mom. I was a wife. I was a mom of young children 15 years ago. You know, I was taking over a prominent church. So I didn't have time to deal with the naysayers. People who, there was a group of pastors that sat at a restaurant called Amy Ruth, and they had their conversation going on about, oh, her dad's shoes, they're too big for her to fill. She will never be able to pastor that church. But they were absolutely right. I couldn't fulfill my father's shoes because guess what? They were too big for me. But I knew that I had my own shoes.
Come on.
I knew that God had called me. Now watch this. My style was different. The way I dress was totally different. I don't wear suits. I don't wear long skirts. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody have their own personality. But I had to be me. And the real me, I needed to show up. I couldn't be who everyone else was. Also, I'm not a preacher. I'm more of a teacher. Because I want people to get the word. I think you can get the word through preaching and teaching. But I understood that if I really wanted people to get this thing and live this thing, it has to be taught before it could be caught. Yes, godmother. And so my style was so different. And I must admit, when I first started, there was a lot of insecurities. It wasn't the men, it was the women that, you know, putting the dagger in my back. It was the women that was writing me mean letters, and I would have to come with all of these horrible letters. And I remember I would cry, but I would never tell my family what was going on because I didn't want them to be impacted by the church. And so I kept it all to myself. But I'll never forget one of my preacher friends. I had all these letters and I would put them away and I would open it back up and read it again. And I remember her coming and saying, "Pastor, what's the matter with you? Why are you reading those letters?" And you know, she was like in my face. And you know what? All of us need somebody to be in our face. Fast forward, as I look at my life now, it's all for the better. I believe that in the midst of the disappointments, which there were, and being a woman in ministry and just not knowing who to turn to, who to trust. God sent me my mentor. His name was the late Reverend Dr. J.G. McCann. And I mean, that man just poured into me, poured into me. He was the one who pushed me and said, you got to go back to school. You got to go back to school. And I'm like, I'm not interested in being nobody's doctor. But he kept and pouring in and pushing me. Everybody needs somebody that will push them into their destiny. And as a result, now, you know what, I can duplicate what he's done. You know, now I can be a blessing to some other sister, encouraging her, pushing her, motivating her, you know, telling her, you know, that she can do it. So I'm just excited about ministry, about, you know, this, even just this next chapter in life, what God is doing. I don't know about you, but if I could just share this real quickly. You know, I'm thinking about this pandemic that's going on in the world. Let me tell you something, ladies. It's the greatest time ever for us. Especially, can we talk with our Taba business?
Come on, somebody.
The greatest time ever to be in business, to have those streams of income and do exploits. And so I can't wait to see the outcome. I can't wait, ladies, to see us walking across that stage. As yes.
Absolutely. I mean, and this is the thing. You went into the whole what's going on. Being able to decipher what's going on as entrepreneurs. This is where your creative juices. Come on, Ring. Oh, yes, Ring. Okay, let's stop everything real quick. Oh, where's my clapper? I should have had my clapper.
Well,
yay! Let's talk about the Ring right quick. Listen. Now let's tell y'all what this ring means, y'all. Okay, the ring that you see Dr. Cook with right about now, y'all, is a ring that shows that she's done made more than $50,000 in 90 days, y'all. Go ahead and clap it up one more again. And yes, that good old Kai T, y'all, that good old Kai T. But, you know, as women, being able to discern what's happening as an entrepreneur and tapping into those creative juices and realizing that, yes, this is serious. Yes, there are people that are going through, but this is also why it is imperative that we show up to be a solution to the problems that many people are having. And I've shared this before on my social media hold on, y'all. There we go. That in this time, when there's recession and there's so much chaos going on, there are people that are doing the most right now, that are thriving during a pandemic, during a recession. And you want to ensure that you're the person that is thriving in this time and realizing, going back to what we said earlier, there is a supply and demand going on right now, right? And if you are able to go and provide a solution to the problem, you will thrive. But what I like about what we're doing, the industry that we're in, the networking industry, the health and wellness industry, is that we literally have solutions to the problems that many people have. And so while we can get excited about the financial benefits, like Dr. Cook having a $50,000 ring, right? But we can also get excited about the fact that I have been able to help people strengthen their immune system. I'm making no medical claims, but this is what has been happening, the testimonials that have been coming. I am able to help people lose weight that have been having issues for so long. I have been able to help people detox their bodies. I have been able to help people create an additional stream of income when they did not know what they were going to do. And so while there's so much going on, you can be the solution to someone's problem. And I believe that that's the difference between being a spiritual leader. That's the difference between being someone that's just in business to be in business to make money, but being someone who is in business because it is part of your purpose. It is part of the reason why God has put you on this earth, because you're here to help people. And in you helping people through the law of reciprocity, you have to win. Right? You don't just do this just to do it, but we have an even exchange. And this industry has been able to be a blessing to all of us, from the millennial to the seasoned legend to the baby boomer to whatever. Every single person has an opportunity to be able to be a blessing to somebody else in this time that we are in. And so it's for you to realize that, hey, maybe I need to get out of my own way. Maybe this has to be shaken. A lot of us are being shaken right now because God has been trying to get your attention, but you wouldn't move. Right? It's almost like when he spoke to Jonah and told Jonah to go to Nineveh, and he was like, listen, God, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm not going to do is mess with those people that don't want you anyway. Okay, so you know what? He's going to keep trying to run. Okay, hop on that boat. Oh, let's take some stuff out. Then they're like, wait a minute. We didn't start having all these issues till you came around. So now we want to get you out of this boat. And now, boom, here you are in the mouth of the whale. What am I saying? Things have gotten shaken up for a lot of people simply because they were not taking heed to the unction that they were getting prior to, that was like, hey, you should probably write that book. Hey, you should go ahead and start selling that chicken. Hey, you probably, but you know, you were good. You were content. You were comfortable in your 9 to 5. You had your retirement. You had your schedule. And you said, I am fine where I am. Well, guess what, honey? The things have shifted and now you're caused to move. And so for those of you that are watching, Lord, give me a sign. Lord, this is for me. Honey, here is your sign. So I want to go ahead and wrap this up. This has been amazing. I want Leah to share with everyone a final remark about, you know, the beauty of being a woman in business, you know, because there's some benefits of being a woman, right? That'll be another live stream we probably can't talk on today. But there are some giftings that we have as women that God has given to us as a gift, as a blessing. And so as a woman entrepreneur, as a single mom, as someone who has committed to seeing others win, what are the final remarks you can have to someone watching this video today that will inspire them to keep moving forward and to go and take that leap of faith and start their business?
Are you able to hear me with these
Yeah.
new? Perfect. Okay, so one of these thoughts is this. First of all, we were purposed to be here. You know, when that sperm met that egg, we already had won the battle of the 1 in a million, right? Because there was a whole bunch of sperm running around in there, right? And it was just that one sperm that connected with that available egg that made you you. And so from the beginning, you were already predestined, because there could have been any of those other 900,999 that was over there that could have connected with that egg, correct? But the one that did is who made you you. So you were designed and predestined to be here at this time, in not just in 2020, but in cosmic history, right?
Come on, cosmic history.
Not just about this little 2,000 years that we talk about. There was a pre-life long before this 2,000 years that we are conscientious of. And there's a world outside of here that we are not even privy to. When we think about the fact that the sun is a star, and when we think about the solar system, right? And in this solar system is these 7, 8, however many planets science has decided we have right now. And on Earth, we've got this multi-billions of people on this one Earth with this one sun star. And then you look out there in the galaxy and there's millions of other stars. Imagine that each one of those stars is its own sun that has its own Earth and Pluto and Saturn and Uranus, and it has billions of people on Earth, every single one of those stars. Do you know that you are here at this time for a purpose for the people that you are to encounter and intersect with right now, and that their destiny depends on you to make a decision so that you can walk in the lane that you were designed to be in, because they're waiting on you. They're waiting on you because there is an intersection that has to happen for their life's mission to be executed. And you hold the tools and the purpose and the promises that God has placed in you to connect with them in this intersection, in this time, in this cosmic space, in this galactic universe right now. So I say to you today, while you're trying to figure it out, God has already worked it out. And it is on everything, everywhere is already all right. You just need to walk in it and know that it's time for you is purpose. And if you're on here and you see this and you've been wondering, questioning, and asking, and if it's dropping in your spirit that, woo, that hit me, that's the answer. It's not going to be a big drum roll and something falling out the sky. If it sounds like your voice saying, baby, do it, this is your time, that is your God self speaking to you. Listen and move.
Leah came to preach, y'all. Come on, somebody, with that scientific word. All right, somebody. But amen. Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. Everything was so on point. Now at the time, come on, shout out to the Kai T. And so right now, I want to ask Dr. Cook, because she'll preach too, so we don't want to preach too long, but to tell everyone your final remarks as to this time that we're in, or whatever it may be, to move forward as a woman who has helped create millionaires, as a woman who is beautiful and fly at 72 years young, okay, blonde bombshell, as a woman who, I mean, I have never really seen anybody work like Dr. Dorothy Cook, and she does not stop, y'all. And as a woman who, I watched from years ago to now having the privilege of working alongside you now and gleaming and learning from you, to be able to see all that you've done and all you continue to do. I want you to speak to those people that are in your age group right now that may be thinking it's over, that may be thinking it's too late. Speak to them, encourage them, and share with them why it's not. And for those of you that are underneath that age group, I want you to glean in and hear some wisdom as she shares her final remarks with everyone as well.
When I was 60 years old, dead broke, thought I'd done everything, it's when I got in the company that made me the $1 million. 60. You never give up. As long as you can breathe, as long as you can get up, you never let anybody tell you you're too young, you're too old. You go like you feel. The funny thing is when they was talking about this epidemic that was going on, and they kept talking about the seniors, and here I am, I'm talking to everybody about the seniors too, and it dawned on me, hey, you are a senior, but I don't feel that way. I mean, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? And if you guys notice, I must be rubbing off because everybody on here is a blonde. Okay. So everybody got some sort of blonde on. So I love it. I love it. I love it. But I tell people, listen, age, you heard it say all the time, age is just a number. If you get up and find something to do, it will keep you younger. It will keep you younger. And you keep going and you keep going. I challenge anybody because I will not let you tell me that I'm 70 and I can't do this. No. When I'm 80, I'm going to be doing it. When I'm 90, I'm going to be doing it. When I'm 100, I'm going to be doing it. And I'm going to be in good health. I'm going all the way to 120 because God promised me that. And when I get to 120, I'm going to be out here. I'm going to be out here.
Come on.
And I want to tell y'all something. During this shut-in time, take the tip from me now, because you're going in this house a size 8. If you don't do something, you coming out a size 20. Think about it. Women, I'm looking on Facebook, people are cooking oxtails, they're cooking. that they've never done before. Why? Because they have the time to cook now. So you don't think about it, but you're eating more. And for you women, the baby boomers, we're just getting started. Don't you let these millennials think they're taking over. We ain't gonna let them take over. We're gonna keep going and we're gonna keep going. So if your mama needs somebody to talk to, have her call me. Because I'll turn her life around. Get her out that house. Well, not out the house right now, but y'all know what I mean. I'll get her back into feeling good about herself. Get her some blonde hair, and baby, we gonna do it. So if
I know that's right.
somebody at my age that think they can't do it, just let them call me. I promise you, I'll take them back into life. Life is good, and it's to be lived all the way, all the way. People tell me, I had a guy tell me, he said, my mom is dying with cancer. I said, no, no, no. Your mother is living with cancer.
Come
Don't
on.
kill her before she dies. She
That's
is
right.
living with forever. And you speak life in her until she's no longer here. But as long as a person is here and you stick your hand on there and you breathe, you are alive. I don't care what age you are. 80 years, I'll start a group. I'll start a 60 to 70 group. I don't care, 70 to 80 group. Let's start that. I'm
Let's
up
go.
for it. So if you've got somebody in your team, in your family, have them contact you. I bet y'all change their life. They'll have everybody in the house.
Come on.
Okay? And remember, get your kind of tea from somebody because you need to detox while you're eating all this food. Don't come in a size 2 and come out a size 4. Okay?
That's right. Amen. You all heard it from Dr. Cook herself. Listen, you get those 60, 70, 80-year-olds, she gonna light them on fire. The blonde bombshell. I didn't realize, you're right. We all do have blonde hair. I didn't realize that. That's right. We're fiery around these parts, hunty. Yes. So we want to go ahead and close out. Pastor Sean, do you have anything that you would like to share with everyone before we do our final remarks? Before I share my final remarks, is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, I just like to encourage those who are listening to us today, never to give up on your dreams. Get with those who have your answer. Get away from those who have your problem.
That's good. Yes. How many of y'all are hanging around people that have the same problems as you? Stop that foolishness. Bye. So this is the thing, y'all. As we end tonight, this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you are in the world right now and what time you actually watch this video, I want to speak to those of you that are the millennials, right? Because some folks don't know what millennials are. Y'all calling Generation Z millennials. I'm a millennial. And let me talk to y'all real quick, okay? When I started my first business venture, I was 22 years old and I was leading a group of adults, and I did not know at one point what I was doing, but I knew that there was a fire within me to literally change lives. And for those of you that are right now that are thinking, it's, my gosh, I don't have the money, I'm a single mom, I'm this, I'm that, all of those excuses you're giving yourself can be the fuel to the reason why you have to make a change, why you have to be able to secure your children's future, why you don't want to go back to that job that probably laid you off at this time. You have an opportunity to let these reasons keep you going. Where there is a will, there's a way. You've heard from every single person on this stream today to keep going, never give up, having that mindset. And as someone who has gone through a lot of different things in life, including being ran over by an 18-wheeler truck while I was homeless, walking and pregnant all at the same dang on time, there is clearly a reason for you being here, and you have to keep pushing, keep going. And in that, you will find your dream. You will find what it is that wakes you up at night, the thing that keeps tugging on you. There is room at the top for every single one of us, because you already know the bottom is way too crowded. And so I implore you all watching right now to do something to help you move forward, to go ahead and start that business, to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to partner with you. I don't know. I've never done this before. It's different. I don't know. But be willing. Trust me, there is nothing good in your comfort zone. Greatness is on the other side of your comfort zone. And as Pastor Sean said earlier, that Doug said, you know what? We may drown, but at least I'm going to drown and do it by going to the other side. There's a word and there's a path for you literally right now on the other side. There's a lifestyle that's waiting for you that you may not even know actually exists. And as someone who has been on the other side, I'm here to tell you, you want to come over. So I thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon. Thank you so much to Pastor Sean, Dr. Cook, Miss Leah Rutherford. Thank you so much to all of our viewers. Thank you for chiming in and being with us this afternoon. I am so grateful to have you all here. Yes, once again, Dr. Cook, she will not play. You better get you some Kati. Get in my inbox, get in Dr. Sean's inbox, get in Dr. Cook's inbox, get in Lee's inbox. She got that Vita Plus, got the Valet 30. Listen, we have everything to get you right, get you snatched, get you strong in your immune system, detox that body, popping flawless skin. Hello, someone. We got you. So let us help you. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, only believe until the end and go get your life. Be blessed, everybody.
I'm a millionaire, money better cases. I ain't gotta chase it. I'm a millionaire.
Get your money. Get your money.